Let's quickly review other pathogens that can cause human disease. So we're going to briefly talk about fungi, protists, and prions. So fungi are eukaryotes, basically like mushrooms, but those are different, of course. They generally do not cause severe human diseases. They either are superficial, like athlete's foot or yeast infections in the mouth, or they affect immunocompromised individuals, such as aspergillosis or zygomycosis. But you have to understand that fungal infections of humans, severe, widespread fungal infections of humans, are rare. They're mostly associated with patients who are immunocompromised. Protists are eukaryotic microorganisms. For instance, it's amoeba here. It's a single cell protozoa. They can be contracted from contaminated water sources and may lead to a variety of diarrheal diseases, and also can be responsible for amoebic meningoencephalitis. If you ever heard about brain-eating amoeba, that's that, amoebic meningoencephalitis. Now, malaria and leishmaniasis are two infections that are transmitted by mosquitoes. Malaria is extremely serious disease. These estimations are probably a bit over-exaggerated. The current WHO estimation for malaria death toll is about 450,000 people die every year from malaria. 270,000 of those people are children. So mosquito, called Anopheles, carries the malaria from person to person, and the Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium in general, is the protist that's carried by mosquito salivary glands. It enters the blood and then spreads throughout the body, causing a variety of symptoms. The main symptoms of malaria are fever, back pain. It can progress to cerebral malaria, leading to coma, chills, sweat. It is a disease that debilitates people significantly. So countries in South America, Africa, and Southeast Asia, the highest risk for malaria, especially Africa. Luckily, as you probably already know, there are anti-malarial treatments that are very effective. However, we still have no vaccine against malaria. Another infection that is transmitted by an insect, leishmaniasis, affects India, countries in Southeast Asia like Vietnam, Pakistan, Africa, and some parts of South America. Leishmaniasis is transmitted by the bite of a sand fly. It is caused by the microorganism called Leishmania donovani, and the most common form is cutaneous form. Cutaneous leishmaniasis, lesions on the skin. Usually these lesions heal pretty fast. But if these lesions migrate from the skin onto the mucosal membranes, so-called ispundia, this ulcers on the mucosa eventually destroy mucous membranes. So people with mucocutaneous leishmaniasis may require some pretty complicated surgery to, for instance, restore the oral cavity. Visceral leishmaniasis develops when microorganism gets into the systemic circulation and affects various organs. It is a very dangerous condition. Enlarged spleen, enlarged liver, multiple organ failure. Very often it is deadly. And finally, and there is leishmaniasis is treatable, but again, there is no vaccine against leishmaniasis. Prions, last bit to chat about. So prions are infectious proteins. These proteins, when they assume improper, wrong, odd conformation, they start to change the structure of the human brain. It's actually very interesting because when these faulty proteins, faulty prions, enter the human brain, they start to change normal prions into faulty ones as well. So in humans, this leads to so-called Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease, Kuru disease, or hereditary family insomnia, and it can be caused by consumption of the meat from animals that already have prion disease, like mad cow disease. So if you eat the meat from a cow with mad cow disease, you can develop Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease. This disease is 100% fatal, very rare but fatal. There's no treatment. There's diagnostic but no treatment. There's no vaccine. And basically the way to stay away from prion disease is to avoid consuming not just meat but specifically nervous tissue. So if you for some reason prefer to eat brains, cow brains, or I don't know, whatever, so that will increase the risk of acquiring prion disease multiple times.